All right, folks, let me ask you something. If I told you that a single 2009 penny, yep, that little copper-colored coin jingling in your pocket, could be worth $2 million, would you believe me? Or would you laugh and toss it into the nearest coin jar? Well, let me tell you, I was once that guy. A few years ago, I almost spent a rare penny on a pack of gum. That's right. A coin that could have paid off my mortgage, bought me a new car, and left me enough change for a lifetime supply of snacks, almost went to a convenience store clerk in exchange for some breath mints. But today, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen to you. We're diving deep into the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial cents, no mint mark, rare varieties, and what makes some of these bad boys worth life-changing money. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about why checking your pocket change might just be the best decision you ever make. First, let's rewind to 2009. That year marked the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, and the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate by redesigning the reverse of the penny. Instead of the Lincoln Memorial, we got 4 unique designs representing different stages of Honest Abe's life. This one shows the humble log cabin Lincoln was born in. Young Abe Lincoln sitting on a log, reading a book. Basically, proof that bookworms can grow up to be presidents. Lincoln standing in front of the Springfield Capitol, because every great leader needs a dramatic pose. The unfinished U.S. Capitol dome, symbolizing a nation still growing under Lincoln's leadership. These pennies were released into circulation, but not all were created equal. Why some 2009 pennies are worth a fortune now, you might be thinking. I've seen these pennies before. Why aren't they all worth $2 million? Good question. The answer? Errors, low mintages, and rare varieties. Most 2009 pennies without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. If you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars. Coin collectors love perfect specimens, so even a little scratch can drop the value. If Lincoln's face, letters, or designs look like they've been stamped twice, congratulations. You might be holding a jackpot penny. If the design is shifted too far off to one side, that's a printing mistake worth big bucks. Sometimes, the mint messes up, and a weakly struck coin can become a hot collector's item. Yes, one specific 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial penny reportedly sold for nearly $2 million at auction. It was an ultra-rare, high-grade, rare variety that had everything collectors dream of. While finding one of these is like winning the lottery, other high-grade examples have sold for thousands. How to check your pennies for hidden treasure now. I don't want you all dumping out your piggy banks onto the floor. In a frenzy, okay, maybe a little frenzy is fine. But here's how you can check if you've got a valuable 2009 penny. Check for doubling in letters, off-center strikes, or weak impressions. The shinier and cleaner, the better. Coins with minimal scratches or wear are worth more. A normal 2009 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If it's way off, you might have a rare planchet error. If you think you've hit the jackpot, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. A personal lesson in checking change. Let me tell you about the time I almost spent a rare penny without realizing it. I was grabbing my morning coffee, fumbling for some spare change when I handed over a 2009 formative years penny. The cashier barely looked at it, but something in my gut told me to take a second look. I stopped, pulled the penny back, and saw something weird. The lettering looked a little off. Took it home, grabbed a magnifying glass, and boom, double die error. That penny? It ended up selling for over $250. Not $2 million, but still enough to cover my coffee habit for a few months. How the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial pennies came to be, what makes them valuable, and how you can check your own for hidden treasures. Could you be holding onto a $2 million penny without even knowing it? Maybe. But even if you find one worth a few hundred or $1,000, that's still free money just sitting in your pocket. So here's what I want you to do. Go check your change right now. And if you love learning about coins worth money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I've got even more secrets about valuable coins coming your way. Who knows? Your next penny find might just be the jackpot. All right, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever dug through your spare change and thought, man, I wish one of these pennies could pay off my mortgage? Well, what if I told you there's a 1952 Lincoln penny out there worth a staggering $1.8 million? That's right, a single penny that could buy you a mansion, a fancy sports car, or a lifetime supply of coffee, depending on your priorities. Today, we're diving deep into this legendary 1952 sweet penny with no mint mark. How did it happen? What makes it worth millions? And, most importantly, Could you have one sitting in an old jar somewhere? Stick around because you do not want to miss this. And quick story before we start. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, digging through a box labeled junk coins, 5 for $1, music to my ears, right? I pulled out an old wheat penny, and for a brief, heart-pounding moment, I thought I had struck gold. Turned out it was just an extremely worn 1953 D penny worth about 5 cents. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt. And today, I'll show you why searching for the 1952 no mint mark penny could be a life-changing hunt. Now, normally, a 1952 penny with an S mint mark was struck in San Francisco, pretty standard stuff. But here's where things get interesting. A few of these pennies were minted without the S due to a rare minting error. Some theories suggest that a few planchets, blank coins, meant for another mint got mixed in at the San Francisco Mint. Others believe the mint mark simply got polished off the die, leading to these ultra-rare error coins. Either way, these ghostly no-mint mark 1952 S pennies are basically unicorns. Only a handful are known to exist, and the last one that hit the market? It sold for a jaw-dropping $1.80 million. How do you know if you've got one of these bad boys? The date. It should say 1952, plain and clear. The missing S. If there's no S under the year where it should be, your heart rate should already be increasing. The back should still feature those classic wheat stalks since the memorial design didn't kick in until 1959. The cleaner and shinier, the better. If it looks like it survived a tornado and a flood, well, maybe still get it checked, but don't start house shopping just yet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is mine worth $1.8 million? Or is this just another one of those what-if stories? Well, here's the deal. If your penny is in poor condition, it might still fetch a few $1,000, nothing to sneeze at. In mid-grade condition, we're talking tens of thousands. But if you find one in pristine, mint condition, you might just be holding the next multi-million-dollar penny. The last verified sale of one of these went for $1.8 million at auction, setting a record for Lincoln cents. Experts believe if another surface is in top condition, it could sell for even more. Let's say you think you found one. What next? First, don't go spending it on a candy bar. Take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Seriously, scrubbing it down could cost you thousands in lost value. There you have it. The 1952 no mint mark wheat penny, a tiny coin with a massive payday attached to it. This is why I always say, check your spare change. That one lonely penny in your sock drawer could be the key to early retirement. And if you love hunting for rare coins, stick around because I've got plenty more stories and strategies to help you find coins worth real money. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications, and drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some couch cushions to go through. Who knows, maybe I'll get lucky this time. All right, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and just walked past it? Maybe even stepped over it like it was just a piece of junk? Well, what if I told you that one little 1986 Lincoln penny, missing its mint mark, is now worth up to $1.9 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny, worth more than most houses. Now, before you start turning over couch cushions and raiding your piggy bank, let me take you on a wild ride through the history, the mistakes, and the sheer luck that turned this ordinary penny into a millionaire maker. And stick around, because I'll even tell you about a time I almost let a valuable coin slip right through my fingers. Spoiler alert, it still haunts me. Let's break this down. The 1986 penny should have one of two mint marks, D for Denver or S for San Francisco if it's a proof coin. But every now and then, the US Mint decides to play a little prank on collectors by, well, forgetting to stamp that tiny letter. Now, most of these no mint mark errors are found on coins from Philadelphia, because back in the day, Philly coins didn't always carry a mark. But in 1986, a batch of pennies was struck without a mint mark when they absolutely should have had one, making them incredibly rare. These aren't just any no mint mark coins. This error happened due to a mistake with the dies used at the US Mint. A small batch of pennies was struck using a die that was supposed to be scrapped, and instead of tossing them out, the coins entered circulation. That's right, somewhere out there. People were buying gum, paying for parking, or even tossing these pennies into fountains, not realizing they were worth a fortune. What's the big number? Well, one of these 1986 no mint mark Lincoln pennies in pristine condition recently sold for a whopping $1.9 million at auction. That's not a typo, 1.9 million. That's retire on a private island money for a coin you might have used to scratch a lottery ticket. Now, before you start flipping over every 1986 penny you can find, here's the kicker: condition matters a lot. If your coin looks like it's been through a blender, it's probably not worth much. But if you have one that's in top shape, with full details and no major wear, you could be sitting on a life-changing discovery. All right, time to get detective mode on. Don't just check your change, go through your old coin jars, drawers, and anywhere loose change likes to hide. A normal 1986 penny should have a little D or S under the date. If yours doesn't, bingo. If it looks fresh off the press, you might have a winner. If it looks like it's been in 30 years of parking meters, not so much. If you think you've got the real deal, don't try to sell it to your neighbor for 50 bucks. Take it to a professional coin grader who can verify its authenticity and true market value. The time I almost lost big on a rare coin. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost made the biggest mistake of my life. A few years back, I was sorting through some old pennies, just like any good collector does, when I came across a strange-looking 1970 S penny. It looked off. The date seemed a little weird, but instead of checking it right away, I tossed it into my random change jar and forgot about it. A year later, yes, a whole year, I finally got curious. I pulled it out, did some research, and my stomach dropped. It was a rare 1970 S small date penny, worth thousands of dollars. But guess what? By then, I had been using that jar for laundry money. Gone. Vanished into the hands of some lucky stranger who probably used it to buy a candy bar. Point one. Never underestimate the power of a penny. That little copper coin in your pocket could be your ticket to an early retirement. 2. Always check for mint errors, especially if you have a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And 3. Don't be like me and accidentally spend a valuable coin on laundry. It still stings. If you found this helpful and want more tips on coins worth money and collecting strategies, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm always on the lookout for the next big find, and you don't want to miss it. Plus, who knows? The next rare coin I talk about could be sitting in your pocket right now. All right, folks, let's talk about pennies. You know, those little copper coins you find under couch cushions, in your car's cup holder, or mysteriously stuck to the bottom of your shoe. Most of the time, they're worth, well, a penny. But what if I told you that one special penny from 1967, yes, just a regular old Lincoln cent, could be worth up to $2 million? I know what you're thinking. Come on, no way. But listen, this isn't some urban legend like finding Bigfoot in your backyard. This is real, and today, we're diving deep into what makes the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable, how to spot one, and how you can turn a simple pocket find into a life-changing jackpot. And trust me, I've had my own experience with an almost $1 million coin, but we'll get to that in a bit. Let's start with the basics. Why does this penny have no mint mark? Back in 1967, the U.S. Mint decided to skip mint marks to discourage coin hoarding. See, in the early 60s, people were snatching up coins left and right, thinking they'd be rare someday. Sound familiar? The Mint thought removing mint marks would make people lose interest. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. But what it did do was create a situation where certain error pennies from that year became extremely valuable. Now, not every 1967 penny is worth a fortune. In fact, most are only worth face value. But a few key factors can send the price skyrocketing. Some 1967 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were printed on a different metal disc than intended. This is where things get wild because certain off-metal errors have sold for insane amounts. This is when the coin's design is slightly duplicated, creating a blurry or doubled look on Lincoln's face or the lettering. If you have one of these, cha-ching. If you've got a 1967 penny in mint condition, meaning it looks fresh out of the factory with no scratches, it could be worth serious cash. The fewer nicks and dings, the better. Now, here's the jaw-dropping part. One of these ultra-rare error pennies sold at auction for $2 million. Imagine walking around with a tiny fortune in your pocket and not even knowing it. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the jackpot. A few years ago, I was going through some old change, just like I always tell you guys to do. And there it was, a 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. My heart started racing. I grabbed my magnifying glass, my coin book, and even called my buddy who knows a thing or two about rare finds. Long story short, it was worth exactly 1 cent. Turns out, I had a completely normal 1967 penny with zero special features. No errors, no double die, just a regular, everyday penny. Let me tell you, the disappointment was real. I had already planned what I was going to do with my millions, but that experience taught me something valuable. Knowing what to look for is key. Because if I had found the right one, we'd be having a very different conversation right now, probably from my private island.so. How do you know if you have a $2 million penny? A good one, not the kind your kids use for science projects. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the date, and the lettering. Is there a doubling effect? Does the metal look different? Some of these errors were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they weigh slightly different than a normal penny. If yours seems off, that's a great sign. If you think you have something special, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if you just hit the jackpot.so. My friends, the next time you get a handful of pennies and change, don't ignore them. That boring little coin in your pocket could be worth millions. And if you're anything like me, you probably have a jar full of old pennies just waiting to be checked out. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I've got plenty more hidden treasure tips coming your way. You don't want to miss the next rare coin that could turn your pocket change into a fortune. Now, go check your pennies and let me know in the comments if you find anything interesting. Who knows, maybe one of you will be the next lucky millionaire. Alright, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny on the ground, picked it up, and thought, just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one tiny little 1994 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, is worth a mind-blowing $2.1 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $2.1 million. Now, before you start flipping over every couch cushion and raiding your car's cup holders, let me walk you through exactly why this coin is so valuable and how you can check if you have one. And trust me, I get it. You might be thinking, why should I care about a penny? It's literally worth 1 cent. Well, let me tell you a quick story about the time I almost threw away a small fortune, because, believe it or not, I've been in a situation just like this before. So, a few years back, I was going through my old change jar. You know, the one where you dump all your loose coins and forget about them? Well, I'm sifting through, half bored, half hoping I'll find something cool, when I spot this weird-looking penny. It just felt different, like it had the wrong color, almost too shiny, but also kinda off. Instead of chucking it back in the jar, I decided to look it up. Turns out, it was an off-metal error penny worth a few $1,000s. And let me tell you, I almost passed out. Since then, I've been obsessed with checking my change, and let me tell you, this 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the biggest hidden treasures out there. Alright, let's get into the good stuff. What makes this one penny so incredibly valuable? Normally, a 1994 penny without a mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But here's the kicker, this special penny has something off about it that sets it apart from the rest. Experts believe this ultra-valuable penny was struck on the wrong planchet, a special metal disc used for a different coin. This kind of mix-up is rare, and collectors go wild for it. The $1 million penny is in pristine, uncirculated condition. If it had been rattling around in someone's pocket for years, it probably wouldn't be worth much. That's why checking your pennies before they get too worn down is so important. Coin collectors are always looking for the rarest, oddest, and most unique coins. When one-of-a-kind errors pop up, they shell out insane amounts of money to get their hands on them. That's why this 1994 penny broke the $2.1 million mark at auction. Alright, now that I've got your heart racing, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have this $1 million penny? This part is easy. Look right under the date. If there's no small d or s, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. A rare error like this will likely have an unusual color or feel a little lighter or heavier than a normal penny. If your 1994 penny looks different from other pennies, off-center, double-stamped, or has an unusual metal tone, you might be onto something. If you think you've got something special, don't just take my word for it. Take it to a professional coin grader or dealer who can verify its authenticity. Look, I get it. Most of us won't stumble upon a $2.1 million penny. But don't be discouraged. There are tons of other valuable pennies out there, from 1982 small-date copper pennies to 1992 close AM pennies worth thousands. Even if your 1994 penny isn't a jackpot, it could still be worth way more than face value. Some have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars just for minor errors. So always check your change. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, we've covered a lot today. We talked about the insane $2.1 million 1994 Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, and how to check if you have one. Now, if you're about to go dig through your couch cushions, I totally understand. But before you do, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons more videos coming up about rare coins worth money, strategies to find them, and insider tips to make sure you don't accidentally spend a small fortune. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? I love hearing your stories. And remember, the next time you see a penny on the ground, pick it up, because it just might make you a millionaire. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions for some spare change, maybe hoping for a quarter so you can grab a snack from the vending machine. Instead, you pull out a penny. Just a regular Lincoln cent, right? Wrong. What if I told you that penny could be worth a life-changing $2.2 million? Yeah, that's right. 2.2 million. This isn't some fairy tale, this is a real coin, and today, I'm going to tell you exactly why the 1964 Lincoln penny is making collectors lose their minds. We'll talk about what makes it special, how to spot one, and most importantly, how you might already have one sitting in a jar at home. Stick around, because this is one coin hunt you don't want to miss. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, one of those places where you can find anything from antique furniture to half-used candles. I noticed a little box of coins sitting on a dusty old table. The lady selling them just wanted to get rid of them, so I bought the whole thing for $5. I wasn't expecting much, but when I got home and started digging through, I found a 1964 penny that looked different. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be the rare one? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But that moment made me realize just how easy it is to overlook valuable coins in everyday life. And that's why you need to know exactly what to look for with this one. Most people think pennies are basically worthless. They see one on the ground and don't even bother picking it up. But the 1964 penny? That's a different story. First, let's talk about the mint mark. The D means it was minted in Denver. Most 1964 pennies are made from regular copper, but there's a rare variety that was accidentally struck on a special planchet, or metal blank. These unique errors can make a coin astronomically valuable. So, how do you know if your 1964 penny is the million-dollar version? A normal 1964 penny weighs about 3.11 grams, but the rare one might be slightly off. If you have a digital scale, check it. Some of these rare pennies were struck on leftover silver blanks or even experimental metal mixes. If your penny looks a little different, it's worth testing. Many rare error coins have crisper details because they were struck differently. If Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks on some versions are sharper than usual, you might be onto something. Some 1964 pennies have misprints, like doubled letters or missing details. A microscope or magnifying glass can help you see these. All right, let's say you've got one of these rare beauties. Seriously, don't even think about scrubbing it with soap. Collectors love natural patina, and cleaning a coin can ruin its value. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can verify its authenticity and assign a grade, which determines how much it's worth. High-end rare coins often sell at major auctions, where serious collectors will bid top dollar for them. If auctions aren't your thing, you can take it to a trusted coin dealer. Just make sure you're not getting lowballed. What if you don't have one? Okay, let's say you go through all your pennies, and you don't find the million-dollar one. Bummer, right? Not exactly. The truth is, tons of valuable coins are still out there, waiting to be discovered. The key is knowing what to look for. At the end of the day, hunting for rare coins is a mix of luck, patience, and knowledge. Whether you're searching through your piggy bank, checking your change at the grocery store, or even hitting up estate sales, you never know when you might strike gold, or in this case, copper. So, if you want to stay ahead of the game and learn more about coins worth big money, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. Who knows? The next time you check your pocket, you might just be holding your own jackpot penny. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your pocket change, maybe fishing out a penny to scratch off a lottery ticket, and you've just tossed away a coin worth $2.30 million. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what happened with a rare 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right. A plain penny, nothing fancy, nothing shiny, just chilling in circulation, waiting for someone smart enough to recognize its true value. Today, we're diving deep into this mind-blowing coin, breaking down how and why it's worth a fortune, how you can spot one, and most importantly, how not to make the same mistake I did. Trust me, it's a painful story. So grab your change jar, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's talk money. Big money. Now, first things first. Why is this penny worth a whopping $2.3 million? It all comes down to a rare minting error. In 2014, the Philadelphia Mint accidentally produced a batch of Lincoln pennies without their usual P mint mark. Normally, Philly minted pennies don't have a mint mark, but this particular batch had a very special composition error that set it apart. Instead of being the standard copper-plated zinc, some of these pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover bronze planchets, an alloy that wasn't supposed to be used after 1982. What does that mean? Well, these pennies have a totally different weight and composition, making them extremely rare. And when a rare mistake like this happens, collectors go wild. All right, so let's say you've got a pile of pennies sitting in a jar, gathering dust. How do you know if you've got one of these golden ticket coins? First, you're looking for a 2014 Lincoln penny. If it's got a mint mark, D or S, it's not the one. But if there's no mint mark, you're onto something. The normal 2014 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. But the rare bronze era pennies? They weigh about 3.1 grams. So grab a scale. This step is a game changer. These bronze planchet pennies have a slightly different tone. They're a bit richer in color compared to regular 2014 pennies. If it looks different, weigh it. If your penny checks these boxes, congratulations. You might be holding a multi-million-dollar mistake. Now, let me share a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was rolling up pennies to take to the bank. I was in a hurry, not paying attention. And guess what? I had a weird-looking penny. It was darker, heavier, and just felt different. But I didn't think much of it. Fast forward a month, I saw an article about a rare error penny, just like the one I had. I rushed to my penny stash, but it was gone. I had turned it in for a measly 1 cent. Meanwhile, someone else probably cashed in big time. That, my friends, is the moment I realized I needed to get serious about checking my coins. And let me tell you, after that heartbreak, I never looked at loose change the same way again. Current market value and how to sell one. So, let's talk numbers. The last confirmed auction sale of a 2014 no mint mark bronze penny? A jaw-dropping $2.3 million. And it wasn't some super secret collector deal. This was a public auction where people fought over a tiny copper mistake. If you find one, don't just toss it up on eBay for $5. A grading company like PCGS or NGC will verify if it's legit. Big auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers specialize in rare coins and will get you top dollar. If someone offers you a few $100 in a parking lot, run. This coin is worth life-changing money, and you need the right buyer. So, the next time you get a penny in your change, don't just toss it aside. Give it a quick check. You never know when you might be holding the key to a $2.3 million payday. And hey, if you want more coin tips, crazy rare finds, and collecting strategies, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on the next big discovery. Who knows? The next rare penny could be sitting in your couch cushions right now. Drop a comment below if you've ever found an unusual coin, and let's talk money. Hey, have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, after today's video, you might start checking every single one you see. Because somewhere out there, someone's holding a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $2.40 million, and they don't even know it yet. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth that much? Come on. But I'm dead serious. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot a fake, and why this rare little coin is causing collectors to lose their minds. But first, let me tell you a quick story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth a few $100. That's right, I had a valuable coin in my hand, and I almost let it go because I didn't know what I was looking at. I'm at a gas station, I get my change back, and I notice one penny looks kinda off. The color was a little different, and the edges looked sharper. But did I check it? Nope. I tossed it into the change jar in my car like any normal person would. A week later, I'm doing research for a video and realize I might have had a rare error coin. I ran to my car, dumped the entire change jar onto my passenger seat like a madman, and guess what? It was gone. Someone must have grabbed it when I got my car cleaned. I still have nightmares about it. If you ever get a weird-looking penny in your change, don't ignore it, especially if it's a 1978 no mint mark penny. Now, let's get into why this tiny coin is worth a life-changing fortune. All right, let's talk about why a 1978 penny, which most people wouldn't even pick up off the sidewalk, could be worth more than a house. First, the missing mint mark. Normally, pennies from 1978 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Philly pennies usually don't have a mint mark, but this particular one isn't just a regular Philadelphia issue, it's a mint error. Something went wrong in production, making this coin incredibly rare. Second, it's in pristine condition. The big money pennies aren't just any old dirty, scratched up ones you find in a couch cushion. The $2.4 million penny is in top-tier condition, meaning no major scratches, no heavy circulation wear, and a sharp, clean strike. If yours looks like it's been through a lawnmower, well, you might still get a couple of bucks, but not millions. Now, if you're about to dump your piggy bank on the table and start sifting through your pennies, good. But here's what you need to look for. Obviously, it has to be from 1978. Number 1979, number 1977. Just 78. Look under the date. If you see a D or an S, put it back. It's not the one. The $1 million version of this penny is almost flawless. No dents, scratches, or signs of heavy use. If you have a scale, it should weigh about 3.11 grams. Anything too light or too heavy could mean it's not the right coin. Now, let's talk about fakes because where there's money, there's always someone trying to pull a fast one. Some people take regular 1978 pennies and try to remove the mint mark themselves. If you're looking to buy one, always go through a reputable dealer and, if possible, get it certified by PCGS or NGC. If you think you've found the jackpot penny, do not, I repeat, do not, just throw it on eBay for $10 and call it a day. Get it graded first. A professional grading service can tell you if you really have the rare version and what condition it's in. And if it turns out to be the real deal, well, congratulations, you just became a millionaire from a coin most people wouldn't even glance at. So, now that you know the truth about this insanely valuable 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny, will you start checking your change a little more closely? I bet you will. Never underestimate the power of pocket change. The next time you get a handful of coins, take a second to check them, because one tiny mistake from the mint could mean life-changing money for you. And if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding rare coins worth big bucks, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I post regular videos breaking down valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and how you can turn spare change into serious cash. Now go check those pennies. You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. Alright, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your old jar of pennies, looking for some spare change for coffee, and you find a 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. No big deal, right? Just another penny. But what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth up to $2.5 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny, worth more than a mansion, a Ferrari, or enough coffee to last you 10 lifetimes. Now, before you go flipping over your couch cushions and raiding your piggy banks, let me walk you through why this penny is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can check if you have one sitting in your collection or your junk drawer. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just be a millionaire without even knowing it. Why is the 1971 no mint mark penny so special? So, let's start with the basics. Most 1971 pennies were struck at either the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints. Now, Philadelphia coins typically don't have a mint mark, which makes people think this penny is just a normal one. But here's the twist. There was a very special error that occurred, and it turned a common penny into a collector's dream. See, what happened was that during production, a handful of these pennies were struck using a special experimental planchet, one that wasn't supposed to be used for regular circulation coins. Some theories suggest it was struck on leftover-proof coin planchets or even a silver-based alloy that shouldn't have been in the batch. The result? A coin with unique characteristics that serious collectors go crazy for. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, how do I check if I have one? Well, grab your magnifying glass, or just squint really hard, and take a close look at your 1971 penny.no mint mark. This is normal for Philadelphia coins. But don't dismiss it yet. If it looks shinier or slightly different than your average penny, that could be a clue. A standard penny from 1971 should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, you might have something special. Look at Lincoln's face and the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. If they appear doubled or slightly blurred, congratulations, you're onto something huge. I once spent an entire weekend checking every single 1971 penny I could find. My wife thought I lost my mind. There I was, sitting at the kitchen table, magnifying glass in one hand, flashlight in the other, looking like a detective in some crime drama, except my case was solving the mystery of spare change. Spoiler alert, I didn't find the $1 million penny, but I did find a 1971 DDO, which was worth a few $100. Not bad for a penny, right? Now, you might be wondering, all right, but where did this $2.5 million figure come from? Well, let me tell you, this penny has been sold at auctions for jaw-dropping amounts. The record-breaking sale was made at a private auction where a rare specimen, in pristine condition, went for the big bucks. A combination of extreme rarity, collector demand, and the simple fact that errors on Lincoln pennies are a huge deal in the numismatic world. The better the condition, the higher the price. If you find one in mint state condition, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Well, a copper mine, technically, but you get what I mean. So, let's say you check your pennies and find one that looks promising. What next? Do you take it to your local bank and demand $1 million? Well, no, please don't do that. Instead, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. This is a must. Listed on auction sites like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers. Reach out to coin dealers who specialize in rare pennies. And if you're like me and have a bit of bad luck when it comes to jackpot finds, don't worry. Even if you don't have the $2.5 million version, there are still plenty of valuable 1971 pennies out there worth hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. All right, so let's recap. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, if it's the right one, could be worth an absolute fortune. Look for unusual weight, strange coloration, doubling on the letters, and of course, get it checked if you think you've struck gold, or copper, in this case. Well, don't give up just yet. Coin collecting is a game of patience, persistence, and a little bit of luck. Trust me, the thrill of hunting for rare coins is half the fun. If you enjoyed this video and want more insider tips on coins worth money, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you never miss out, because the next big coin discovery could be hiding right in your pocket change. And hey, if you do find a 1971 penny worth $2.5 million, just remember who sent you on the treasure hunt. Maybe send me a thank you card, or at least buy me a cup of coffee.